Okay. Okay. So hope all of you are doing absolutely well. I am headed back home from Kolar. Came here at about 10 a.m. and had a small bite to eat and a coffee as well, and I'm headed back home now on this Sunday morning. It's about 11. Should take me a couple of hours to reach home. One of my favorite highways this. This vlog will be mostly about me shutting up so that the highway and the sights of the highway can be enjoyed much better. I don't have any topic specifically to talk about today, except the fact that this carbon racing windscreen now has these arms support as well, which was not there before, and the windscreen used to vibrate a lot, which has literally gone away ever since I set up this entire rig. So for those who are interested, the carbon racing support system, so basically there are a couple of screws which go there, couple of screws which go there, and a couple of screws which go there. So it holds up the windscreen quite with a lot of stability and with a lot of support. So I have done about 120 types of speed today with absolutely zero vibration, and a lot of the wind blast has obviously disappeared. So yeah, it's a very nicely designed and manufactured product, as with most carbon racing products. So in case you are wondering whether you should get this, this gets a thumbs up from me. Other than that, I also put these double take mirrors, as you can see. So this is one and this is another one. These are quite expensive mirrors for what they are. The pair costed me about 13,000 something. Oh, and by the way, the windscreen, this windscreen, if you're interested, this the entire rig, including the stabilizer, the GPS block stabilizer, the whole rig costs about 4,000 rupees. So it's reasonably priced, in my opinion. It's neither too little nor too much. And of all the windshields for the 390 Adventure that there are, I think the carbon racing is the most well done. So there is one from I think Inkscape or Inchcape or something. There is one from Hyper Rider. There is one from Adventure Conquest, I think, and this is the fourth one. So these are the 4 Indian made windshields that are available for the 390 Adventure, and in my opinion this is the best one. What else have I done? Yeah, the risers. I have even put the carbon racing risers here, and this has again made a substantial difference in the way I'm riding. So for one thing, I am sitting much more upright than what I used to, and the second thing is the way I used to grip the handlebar has also become a bit more relaxed, because of which the tingling sensation in my palms, which used to be there before, that has almost reduced by 80 to 85%. So that has been a very good thing which I've done as well. And finally, yet another mod which will happen soon is I have ordered the 47 teeth rear sprocket from Race Customs in Chennai, and I have ordered that sprocket. It's a custom made sprocket. You get to select from multiple designs that they have, and I have also ordered a roll-on chain, a brand new chain with it, because the stock chain will obviously be a little short because the rear sprocket is bigger. Now, what's the advantage of the rear sprocket, one might wonder. It's supposed to greatly have benefits in the area of low end torque. So a few people have done the Duke 250 sprocket with the 14 teeth in the front where the engine is, and that is also one solution, but I find those things a bit icky. I don't generally like any sprockets going inside the engine casing. I would much rather have them at the rear wheel, which is why I am going for the Race Customs solution. So that should be landing with me next week, and I will most likely go to a nearby garage and have it installed. I'll most likely go to Asura garage, which is quite nearby to my house. Bit of a hot day today. The winter is definitely in its last legs, but because of this Rhinox jacket, I have opened up all these air vents, as you can see, all these orange portions. So there is a couple of them on my arms, there is a couple of them on my chest, and there is a couple of them on my shoulders. So once I open these vents, the jacket drastically changes character in terms of allowing wind to pass through and keep you well, what's the word I'm looking for? Keeps you sweat free, basically. So this Rhinox jacket is a good one. Definitely worth buying this one. It's a touring jacket, and it looks and feels like it's made to last forever, and I have no doubts that it will last a really long time. So it's a spend worth making. This one costs about 11,000 rupees, I think, but yeah, it's got all sorts of top grade protection if you happen to fall. So quite a nice jacket to get. There is a couple of small ponds on either side of the road on the Kolar highway. Let me try and remember to show it to you. Quite a nice water body. So sometimes I like to pull over and just look at the water for some time. Has a very therapeutic sort of a calming effect on the mind. I'm yet to put my blind spot mirrors on these. I wanted to see whether it does the job without the blind spot mirrors, but I'm so used to the blind spot mirrors now and the tremendous utility that they add to the visibility factor that I find it a bit difficult and a bit out of sorts if I don't have them on the mirrors. I often think about going up those rocks sometime, if you the ones which you can see in the distance. I'm not sure what's up there, so if anybody is from Bangalore and you've been up these rocks on the Kolar highway, just drop me a comment in the comment section below as to what there is atop these hills or rocks or whatever you want to call them, and whether it's worth going up these rocks. This is seriously such a nice bike, the 390 Adventure. It never fails to, you know, sort of give me the riding pleasure that I look for. It's quite a tall bike, it's quite a well built bike, the build quality is supreme. You can do all sorts of modifications on this to personalize this and make it your own. Of course the low end torque is a bit of is something that could have been better, but hey, no bike is perfect, and for the kind of money you get a lot of bike for the money. I think they have increased the prices now. It's not as cheap as it used to be, but anybody who wants a quick adventure tourer, a bike which can take you very quickly on the highway and also help you do a bit of soft roading, if not hardcore off-roading. Yeah, so there is one of the ponds. So I'm not sure of the source of the water which is in this pond, because it hasn't rained for some time now, but there is water here perennially throughout the year. Almost as many times as I've come throughout the year on this highway, I find water here. So yeah, I was telling you about the bike. So definitely worth getting. The price increase, yes, it's happened by about not sure by how much they've increased, but I heard that the prices have increased. And as at this point of time, there are not many used KTM 390 Adventures. In fact, I shouldn't say not too many. There isn't even a single pre-owned used 390 Adventure for sale in Bangalore, and this has been the state for quite some time, because I know somebody who's been looking at picking up a pre-owned bike, one of these, and he has not been able to find any. So that actually says a lot. So people who are buying these, they are really keeping them. and there must be a reason behind that, right? And doesn't really surprise me. It's a really beautiful bike, guys. Seriously, I'll get bored with bikes very soon, but this one has managed to hold its own. I sometimes think that I will get the CB500X, the Honda CB500X, if it ever sees the light of the day in India. But then again, I have seen quite a few reviews in the West where people actually prefer this one over the CB500X. So, of course, the only difference is in the engine. So, KTM engines are high compression engines, which theoretically they say that they don't last as long as the Hondas do, but we shall see. Other than that, I also saw that the legendary Kawasaki KLR 650 has been resurrected back from the dead by Kawasaki in the international markets. So for those who don't know, the KLR 650 is a adventure touring legend. It's almost in the same league as the 790 Adventure or some of the most legendary adventure touring bikes in the world. So KLR 650 is right up there. It is very well known for being a versatile, almost an immortal bike. You cannot kill that bike. It will just keep going on and on and on and on and on over all kinds of surfaces, not complaining about a thing. That bike is a mule. It's a donkey of a bike. It will just keep going. That bike is called the Unkillable. So Kawasaki had actually archived that motorcycle, but they have bought it back with a lot of 21st century changes, obviously. And the most some of the things which I did not know about the bike, which I realized after watching a video, is it's a 650cc bike, a 24-liter fuel tank. So imagine the kind of distance or the tank range you get on this bike. And here is the best part. It's a single cylinder. That's right, it's a single cylinder 650cc bike. And the second startling fact is it's a 5-speed bike. It's not even a 6-speed bike. So it's a very interesting motor, but obviously it's time tested, it's trusted, bears the seal of approval by many adventure tourers who have covered coast to coast kind of distances on this bike elsewhere in the world. I hope Kawasaki brings it to India, because this bike actually does not cost a lot, and that's one of its main selling points. It's about $7,000 in the US on road, which is about 70 rupees to a dollar makes it about 5 lakhs. Yeah, so 5 lakhs for that Legend versus 4 lakhs for this. It's going to be a very interesting battle. I hope Kawasaki gets it here. That should be very interesting. And it's a Kawasaki engine, guys. They go on forever. They don't complain, they don't tire. They just keep going. Yeah, there is one more pond on that side of the road. I'm not sure if you guys can see, but yeah, that's a nice one as well. Also need to drop into Decathlon sometime soon, because they have these very nice bottle holders, water bottle holders, which they usually sell it for bicycles, but I know a couple of people who have bought those bottle holders and they have put them on the crash guard of the motorcycle somewhere down there, and it comes in quite handy to carry a bottle of water with you on your rides, so that you don't have to worry about keeping it in your bag or somewhere thereabouts. So that's one thing which I need to pick up from Decathlon. I'm thinking I'll buy two of them, one for this bike and one for the CB350, although I'm not planning to use the CB350 much on the highways anyway, except for the occasional usage. See, this is the problem, guys. This bike just stalls and stops. This problem has never gone away. It's consistently been there. I've done the 2 services already, but I don't know this problem when this will ever go. other thing which I have sort of been trying to consciously practice is the handlebar gripping technique, actually. Something which I watched in one of the videos recently. So basically the principle is that when you grip the handlebar, right, in order to avoid any sort of palm or grip fatigue or soreness in your fingers, the recommended technique to grip the handlebar, whether it's the left side or the right side, is that you must almost grip it as if you are holding a small, helpless, weak, powerless baby chicken. So pretend as if you have been asked to hold a small baby chicken, a weak, powerless baby chicken, and you get the idea. So that's literally how lightly you are supposed to grip the handlebar. And whenever I consciously remember to do this, I find that the blood circulation in my fingers and in my palms is at a more natural sort of a level. There is no sort of numbness or tingling feeling which I otherwise get when I don't remember to practice this technique. So that's a useful tip for all of you. One of the things which I want to try and do this year is, along with at least 1 or 2 riding partners, if not more, I want it to be just 3 people maximum, or 2, even better. I will try and line up a few bikers who might be up for this, but I want to ride from Bangalore to the Statue of Unity in Gujarat, and I want to ride back. So one of my very good friends did it recently, last year, at the end of last year. Of course, he and a friend did it on their Africa Twin and the Tiger 800, but I am more than confident I can do it on this bike. This is a proper touring bike. It can more than manage this sort of a agenda. So why this particular route and why the Statue of Unity? I mean, it's just a goalpost. So I definitely want to take a look at the Statue of Unity. The sheer magnificence of it, and symbolically what it means for us, the Indians. So I need to plan for this trip. I think it takes about a week or thereabouts. So a week of leave or a week of absence at the office should do the trick. Such a beautiful bike, such a beautiful bike. I am seriously blessed. I consider myself blessed. Right at this very moment, as I am riding on this highway, there is no place else I'd rather be. I can only look up at the skies above, and I can thank God for keeping me on a motorcycle. I am alive, I am healthy, I have a nice motorcycle, and I have a job, I have a family. There is not much more than this that I want, guys. Seriously. So there is a bit of gratitude affirmation practice, if you will. And sometimes it's not sometimes, in fact, every day it's very advisable to have a bit of a gratitude affirmation practice built in to your routine. These may sound very basic, but there is not a damn thing that we must take for granted. So pretty soon we are almost going to be coming up to the Hoskote toll gate, and that is where the nice part of the highway ends and the city actually begins. So I plan to vlog till about when we reach there, and then I'll turn the camera off. For those of you in Bangalore, and in case you haven't been yet to the Kolar Mayas, or the shell, the Kolar shell slash Mayas slash Starbucks slash McDonald's, it's definitely a place to visit along with your family. You'll get a nice enough meal to eat there. Plus at the back side of the complex they have a few rabbits and a few ducks and a few birds and all that sort of a thing, and the kids really love it. And the rabbits are quite used to humans and so on, so you can actually pet them, you can stroke them, you can play with them, you can feed them a carrot if you want. So definitely a good agenda for a Sunday morning. These flowering plants on the median, I am sure they require quite a bit of expense in terms of upkeep and maintenance, but whoever it is, they're doing a good job. It really feels quite nice to look at all these different flowers of different colors. Yeah. I also have a bit of material that I wanted to vlog. It's quite a fascinating topic. It's called why I motorcycle. The reasons why we love motorcycling. Certainly my thoughts on the topic. But it's a long list. I was initially thinking of writing it on a post-it, and then as I write like this, I thought of reading it out from the post-it, because I don't want to miss any topic, and probably that's the style I'll actually do The other way that could be done is I could record a vlog like this, and I could sit at home and do a voiceover, because when I'm talking about the topic, I actually want a footage of a proper moto vlog like this. So in either of these formats, that video will be landing soon on my channel, and I'm sure it will prompt a lively debate and feedback from anybody who watches it. I have put a lot of thoughts and inputs into my thoughts behind why I love motorcycling, and certainly why most people like motorcycling. So I've tried to keep it as original as possible. I have not really looked at other videos or other material on the internet about this topic, so that I want it to be my sort of thoughts. Of course, there'll be plenty of content on the internet, either in the form of text or YouTube videos on this topic, but I wanted this to be all 100% original, my own. So that video should see the light of the day soon. Other than that, also let me know what kind of motorcycling topics you guys would like me to cover, and I'll certainly have a think about those and try and prepare some material for it, and I'll try to cover it in my ongoing moto vlogs in the musings from the saddle format. Oh, and the other thing, the most important thing, yeah. Sorry, I almost forgot. So this Thursday, this past Thursday, Honda Bigwing had invited a few select customers, because their main R&D team and their main marketing team were visiting the Bigwing dealerships across the country, and they were in Bangalore as well. So I was one of the selected people who were called by Honda to give my opinions on what I think about the CB350 Highness. What are its good points, what are its faults, what could be done better, all that sort of a thing. And it was quite an engaging session. So each of us had about 10-15 minutes with the bike, with all the people from Honda wearing white coats, and they had all sorts of checklists and notepads on which they were making notes. And after the technical sort of a session right next to the bike, then we were called into a room, and there was a marketing sort of a survey as well. So they asked questions like, what is your age, do you usually ride solo or with pillion, what's your annual family income, and what are your top 5 reasons that you look for when you are considering a motorcycle purchase. So these kind of questions. So it was quite a nice little time that I spent there at the Bigwing Top Line Service Center in Mysore Road in Bangalore, and I met a few other bikers as well. And I have said this before, I like meeting bikers and talking motorcycles. So anyway, in the Honda sort of agenda, basically everybody listed down all their complaints with the CB350, all of it. So nothing held back. So of course the question on everybody's mind is now, okay, Honda came, we spoke, Honda listened, what next? So are they planning to take the bikes back and fix whatever faults that we have mentioned, or Are they going to go back to the design stage and rectify all these faults or flaws or whatever it is, and only the next future generations of the motorcycles will see the benefit? So we don't know the answer to that, but hopefully we should know sometime soon. I don't have any specific faults with my particular motorcycle, but apparently quite a few of them do have a little bit of faults here and there. Probably only because it's a Honda and the expectations are so high, so people have a very low tolerance for faults basically. And this is again one of those areas where Honda is a victim of its own success and its own image of perfection and reliability and quality. So we shall see. Yeah, so the city limits have started. The traffic is starting to increase. Yeah, so there is the Hoskote toll gate, and I will be turning off the GoPro shortly and I'll put it back in my top box. So that's about it guys, and thanks for having been with me on the ride so far, and I will see you all very very soon, and in the meanwhile stay safe, have a good Sunday, and have a good upcoming week ahead. Okay dokes, bye.